This is what it is, okay? I said empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
Welcome to the 21st episode of the Deployment Dojo. This is a live show where we introduce and discuss software installation topics using the WiX Toolset. I'm your host, Rob Mensching, and joining me again is the first student and my very, very good friend, David Edson. David, how are you doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I gotta show you this thing. So you know the intro is Bruce Lee, right?
Yes.
Okay. So the Sounders, soccer club up here, Seattle Sounders, just released their new, you get a scarf every year. It's part of the culture. Anyway, their newest kit is the Bruce Lee kit, and it's like this red and black and yellow. It is incredibly, incredibly cool. I just thought it was I was quite tickled.
Oh, cool.
My son started asking me all these questions about Bruce Lee. Like, was he a real person? Like, and was that really his name? Like, cause he knew it was a movie and did all these things. Anyway, we had a fun conversation about, all the things. Cause, I don't know if you know this, but Bruce Lee went to school at University of Washington and called Seattle his home.
Oh, I actually didn't know that. He went to UW?
Yeah. That's where after many other things, but that's kind of, he set up home in Seattle. And so, Seattle kind of took, I don't know, not ownership of him, but claimed
Adopted
him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. He's buried here too.
I didn't know that either. Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So, Jimi Hendrix too.
I didn't know that either. Wow. A lot of things about this area I guess I don't know.
Yeah. So, how often does a Seattle weather require the use of scarves? Oh, well, this last game, which Sounders 140, was cold, and I broke out the winter scarves. They actually send you, that's a summer scarf. It's very thin and very light, so you can actually wear it in the summer and keep the sun off, which we definitely have to do because we do not get tans up here. All right. That's a fun thing. That's a thing that's been going on. I was just very amused because my son reviewed the intro to this many times, and he's like, oh, yeah, I know exactly. That's very cool. All right. But we're moved in. We have set up, we have established ourselves. We now have our home on GitHub, and we've configured a lot of it. So I'm hoping now we can start building more and more complex installations. We needed to get to this point so that we could, not lose our work, not have to start from the beginning, and honestly, so you could follow along at home. So David, I think we'll just jump in. I'm going to do the thing where we like kind of get started every time from scratch on GitHub for a little bit until we get used to it, and then I'll skip that part.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, all right. So let's go ahead and jump into our initialization, our first kata, which is going to be bringing down our code. All right.
Okay.
All right, here we go. This is our Deployment Dojo. I may get rid of episode 19. Remember, our focus is the core deployment Dojo. This is our belt test. And I will go ahead and copy this URL here from GitHub at github.deploymentdojo. And then I will hit this nice button that's big up on Visual Studio or VS Code. Visual Studio, not VS Code. We're not using VS Code here, but anyway. Dojo, and we're going to put this in episode 21. That folder cannot exist, which we learned last time, and I'm going to go hit clone, and it'll bring our code down for us real quick. Hey, I get an update to new Visual Studio. We are not going to do that on stream. But I got so excited about the Bruce Lee story, I forgot something that we are going to update to, because Heatwave 0.9.5 came out on Friday. Do you know why 0.9.5 came out? We were on 0.9.4 before. Do you know what happened on Friday?
What's that?
RC3 came out.
Oh,
WiX for
right,
RC3 came out.
Yep.
We're getting very close to the end. So all I did here is I double clicked on the belt test package, and I'm going to change the 2 to a 3. And when we build, we're going to be building with RC3. This is like the big thing to get going, move ourselves up to the latest build. RC4 comes out later in March, and that might be it, David. I'm
cool.
Between you and I think the WiX 4 RTM date might now. I'm really leaning towards the open source release date of WiX, which would be April 5th.
Oh, cool.
That's kind of like our birthday for us. All right.
Right.
But before we do anything else, before I make these changes, I need to jump onto a new branch. And so I'm going to push this new branch. Always start a new branch because I don't want to get stuff stuck on main and all that kind of stuff. And we're going to go to episode 21. Sounds good?
Sounds good.
Is this how am I naming them? EP21? Yeah. It's short enough. And bring my changes to EP21. Yes, please bring my changes. All right. So I'm going to go to the get changes. I'm going to add this, and I'm going to say upgrade to WiX v4 rc.4. 3.
Yeah.
My brain is on RC4. That's what we're working on there. But we, of course, are using the released RC3. Use RC3. Use WiX 4 RC3.
Right.
All right. So we're going to update to WiX 4 RC3. Boom. That's local. We're good to go. Yep. The next thing I want to do at the beginning of all of our sessions is I want to go into our build command, and I've decided that we're going to change this version number from 0 to 0, or from 1.0 to 0 dot the episode number. Okay?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
I think that'll make sense, so that if we build anything and upload stuff, then they will be versioned with the number of the episode, and I think that'll probably be clearer, right?
Yeah.
It's just kind of a little house cleaning. And then if you remember, I did not do this. We left behind community package, the enterprise package, which was throwback to episode 19, I think.
Right. 18, 19, something like
18,
that.
19? Yeah, something like that. All right, so I'm going to do a quick build and have this show me the output, show me the directory where it's going to build the MSI2. Bin, x86, debug, belt test, all that kind of stuff. So in the belt test directory, belt test package is the name of it. Save package. There we go. Belt test package, bin, and then we'll just save everything below. That's what that star should be. So we're going to match from our directory. I'm going to call it the artifacts of the build. And so we're in episode 21, belt test package, bin, and then we'll just take that whole folder down below us, and we don't have an enterprise anymore. All right. Cool. Makes sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
No big surprises. All right. I think that's everything I need right now. Now, I did do some small changes. Oh, let's save everything. Let's go ahead and commit this as a separate change and say save the correct packages as artifacts, as build artifacts. Facts. Okay.
Okay.
And then we're going to do this. This is actually where we're starting. This change right here. Oh, does anybody use this? This view is, I can't use this view. I do inline view, inline mode. There we go. That, I don't know. Does some people like that side by side? I can't. I just don't see it, especially with this nice compressed screen. You can see we made the change 0, 21. All right. So,
right.
How about we call this start episode? Home row episode 21. Extending the environment using WiX v4. Beyond Compare. Martin's here. Hey, Martin, welcome. And Beyond Compare. I haven't heard Beyond Compare in a very long time. And then Bob's talking about 32:9 monitors. I would love to have that. I have 3 monitors. I do not have a big wide one, but and I have stuff running on all of them, especially when streaming. All right. I think that's what we're going to do. And this is a hint as to what we're going to do next now that we've got ourselves set up.
All right.
Right?
Yep,
Looks good. Everything's all good to go. Go ahead and close these. And I'm not going to push because we're going to push at the end. Okay, here we go. That's the initialization. I thought that might take a little bit longer, but I guess that's it. That should be everything. All right. Let's look at our Solution Explorer. We've updated our build information. We have our console app. We have our program. And it is still looking at these 2 registry keys to print out this content. Here's the mission of the day. We've been double clicking on this exe. Whenever we install it to the correct folder, we double click on it to launch it. And then we have this read key at the end so that the black screen stays up long enough for us to read the contents and then hit a key and dismiss it, right?
Right.
But that's not how console apps are used, right? Console apps are used from the command shell. They're not intended to be double clicked, or at least that's not normal. So, but the problem is that if we have a command prompt, if it's in the command prompt, then we always have to go, C: program files at x86 with spaces. So you got to quote it, slash, and then our folder, and then our exe name. And the dev team wants to make this change. They want to get rid of the console read line. They want this thing to run correctly because every time they run it from the command line, it runs and it freezes. And everybody's like, oh, it's stuck. Oh no, they forgot the read key. Okay, so they want to get rid of that read key. But they also want to be able to run this command from anywhere on the computer. They don't want to have to go type in C: program files, x86, the deployment dojo folder, yada, 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 right? They just want to be able to run, what is this thing called? Console App 1. Right. Sorry, I forgot the name of it, but they want to run Console App 1 and have it do the right thing from the command prompt. So our mission, whether we like it or not, we're here to do this, is to make that happen, okay? So they have sent us, let's say, this change to remove that read line. That's that little triangle is telling us right there.
Right.
So we're set. This is what we need to do. Everything's in place. Let's go do that. Into our setup. How do we access a exe from the command line anywhere? Do you know? Have you dealt this? This is lore of Windows, less about setup.
Not really.
No.
I haven't really done much of this.
Yep. You add it to the path, which is an environment variable.
Oh, sure. Okay. Yeah.
All right. Just go in the path, and you've seen it probably before. Actually, let's go ahead and take a look at it.
Path's probably pretty large on your machine.
Yeah, but you know what we're going to do? We're going to look at where we're going to test it. In the sandbox. All right, here's our sandbox.
Oh, it's true.
Going to spin up. Oh, I didn't fix the start. I think the start's going to be in the wrong folder. We'll have to fix that too. Something else I have to remember at the beginning of every episode, we have to fix the Dojo start folder if I'm going to keep downloading to different folders. Okay.
Right.
Open a command prompt, and then we're just going to, real quick here. This is the name of the user, by the way, WDAG utility account. And there are a lot of different ways. One, you probably have done, if you right-click here and you go to, is it settings? I haven't done this on Windows 11 much. And then environment.
Yep, environment variables. Yeah, I remember that.
Oh, is it not gonna? Ooh, maybe I can't do that here. I don't know.
If you do it from just the Windows search, it finds it. At least on
system
10, it does.
It's on system, right? No. Wow, this is. I haven't used Windows 11 enough. I always do this from the command line. Computer management, device system, about. This is also different. Where do you do this from? I thought it was in.
Just search, see if it'll pull it up. It doesn't in 10. Does it not pull it up in search?
It could be.
Environment variables.
There it is. Edit the system environment. Oh, yeah, it's so weird. Window key break. I'm afraid that's not going to work in this window though, Bob. Not a bad idea, but all right. Advanced environment variables. This is probably really small. Anyway, so here's the path. Good. We do have one. I was getting a little nervous for a minute. And we have it both for the user, and then we also have it for the machine. Okay, so if we set it for the machine, all users on the, if you change the path, all users will get it. And if you change it just for the current user, well then, of course, only the current user will see the change. All right?
Right.
Right. Now, we're installing our application to... Yes, I want to close it. Sorry. One quick thing before I forget, because I will forget if we don't do this now. Dojo start.cmd. Oh, nope. Not that one. Dojo.wsb. This is the folder I have to change. There we go. Host folder mapping. All right. Something to add to my list of things to remember. All right. So we install our file where?
In the install folder.
Yeah, to the install folder, which is also happens to be rooted in program files folder.
Right.
And I want to go look at the program name. I'm going to change this to Belt Test Deployment Dojo. Okay. Because that name, manufacturer, remember, comes from our manufacturer of our package.
Right.
And then the bind property name, product name comes from our package name. So this folder ends up being install folder, ends up being deployment dojo, belt test inside the program files 64 or 30-bit folder, depending on which way we're building. Yep.
Right.
And program files is a machine-wide folder. It's designed for where applications go for everybody to see them. You have to elevate to put files there, right? It is a protected folder where you can put applications and not have them tampered with by the users, but they can run them from there. All right.
Right.
So this whole package is all per machine, which means let's go ahead and set a per machine environment variable. And the way you set environment variables is with the environment element. And now I'm going to get IntelliSense for me. All right. And I didn't do any of this thing ahead of time, so I have to remember. We're going to do this in the fly, and we'll see how many tries it takes me to get this right first time.
Okay.
The name of the environment variable is path. System equals true or yes, whichever you prefer. All right, so we want the system, the machine-wide, the system level path. And the value, we want it to be set to... What do we want the value to be set to?
You're going to put that application folder in the install folder directory?
Yeah, so what is that? That is C:\program files x86, right?
Yep.
Do I have to keep filling this out? Deployment dojo belt test. Does this feel bad? Is there a space before this x86 or not?
I think they're... I'll look.
Does this feel wrong? Does something feel like a problem here?
No, I don't think so.
The environment wants me to have an ID? Interesting. I'm curious if WiX actually cares. I'm going to ignore that for a moment. That might be a doc bug. All right.
Yeah, it looks good.
It hurts. I'm glad it hurts, Martin. All right. So I'm going to build this. All right. Oh, good. We didn't build console app. It just was there already. And we built our MSI. All right. Episode 21, ready to go, right?
Right.
Let's spin up the sandbox. And wait, there it is. All right, good. Good. And here's our program files x86. It had a space in it. Okay.
Yep.
And we just built belt test 1, bin x86, debug, enus, belt test package. Ready to install?
Yep.
Here we go. Zoom. Did it install correctly? Yes. I see the folder there. Now the real question is, did it do what we wanted it to do, which is set my environment variable. Environment variables. What are we looking for? We're looking for the path environment variable. And it did not do it. Didn't do it at all. Did it do this one? Nope. Did not do it to that one either. Did it set it anywhere? Nope. Okay. Well, I thought it was going to do something. Close this. This is why we have a sandbox screen. Try it. Run it again. Have it go. What did I miss? Well, action. I want to set it part equals last. Okay, so let's talk about these a little bit more here. I think it let me, I have to look at this, because I think it let me create an environment variable without an action on it, which ended up being no action. So I have create, set, remove. Well, we want to set the variable. And what part do we want to set? Well, environment variables, like we saw, can have lists in them. And the path is that. It's a list of paths. So we don't want to set, what part do we want to set? We have the option of all, which means replace the whole thing, which probably would be bad, or replacing the system. We could put it first, or we could put it last. So in our case, we want to put it last. I think WiX just let me create an environment variable that did nothing. We're not supposed to be finding bugs at this point, David. RC4.
Right.
Well, to be fair, I mean, it's a non-ideal behavior, I think is what we call it. I can't think of any case where you'd want to create an environment variable and not set, create, or remove it. Let's see if I'm right. Because that was a little bit funny. All right, cool. All right, all these windows. Belt test, where we built it. Bin, x86, debug, enus. Belt test package, run. It should show our folder up over here. Yay. Our console app is there. That's good.
Right.
Environment variables. Environment variables. And if we look at the path, hopefully, there it is. Ta-da! C: program files, x86, deployment dojo belt test.
Yep.
So the real test, now that we verified that the setting got set, now the real test, of course, is can we open a command prompt? And can we run console app1.exe from the command line?
It should be able to.
Not recognized as a program. So, oh, did I close it? I closed the environment variables. That was silly of me. Environment variables. And now we get to the fun part of testing and debugging what you typed in your setup. All right, C: program files, deployment dojo, belt test, path. Okay. Oh, here, this is another way we could do it. I mentioned that we can use that window. We can also use the command here, set, and then you can show what you can say set path, and it will show us only the path variable, or anything that starts with path, that is. Right. And we can see C: Windows system, yada yada yada, and right here C: program files, deployment dojo, belt test. All right, so I'm going to copy that. I'm going to do a dir and say do that. Cannot find the file specified. Why not? It's a space. You said there's a space, didn't you, David?
Yep. I thought you put the space in there. I thought I saw that.
All right. Nope. There went. All right. We'll build it again. Do it one more time. And I can just hear Martin scratching at the table beneath him, watching. Like, what are you doing? You have these tiny little typos in this path. How can you do this? All right. You know what? We're just going to YOLO it this time, huh? All right. Oops. I clicked on IE accidentally. Belt test. Belt test. Bin. x86. Debug. enus. Belt test package. Yay. Open up a command prompt. What is it called?
Console app1.
Console app1.exe. Ta-da! It
There you
worked. One typo, and that was the whole problem. That makes sense, right?
Yeah.
That typo was pretty bad, though, right?
Right.
Kind of annoying, the fact that we had to do all that. But let's just review this real quick before we move on to the second part of this. All right, so we have an environment. This right here is saying that I have to have an ID. Most of WiX 4, we got rid of the requirements for IDs, except on things that must have them. So this is a doc bug that I'm going to go right down and make sure I remember to go fix the doc for this. An ID is not required. All right, so what do we say? For this environment variable, we want to set the path environment variable, the system one, to the value that, and we're going to set it, and we're going to specify what part we want to set it to. Should we set it to all and see what happens? No, we won't do that right now. But we could put it first. Doesn't matter. You saw how ours got added to the end. That was the important part. And then it sticks the system and the user one together for whatever user is installed. All right. Success?
Yes.
Did we get what we needed? All right. Let's move on to the second kata. Okay, here we're going to do a thing that we don't get to do very often, but we're going to get to do it this time. We're going to switch to 64-bit. Okay, now
All right.
like system's like, hey guys, we need you to build a 64-bit version of this, right? And yeah, we know that the registry keys are going to be all messed up, but let's go ahead and build a 64-bit one because it's going to point out a very big problem that we have. All right.
Okay.
We're going to build it. We're going to run our sandbox. We're going to install the 64-bit one. Doobie. Make sure the build finished. Yep, succeeded. Good. Let's see. Dojo. Belt test package. Bin. x64 debug enus belt test package. Okay. We're installing this. And we see that it is installed, right? Right, here it is, belt test. And here in our program files folder, it's not here. Why is it not here?
It's in the other one.
It's in the other one. That's right. It's in the 64-bit program files folder. And there's our deployment dojo and our belt test, right? So we should bring up our command prompt and we should be able to say console app1.
Oh, no, because you put the
Go!
32-bit one in the path.
Why is it not here?
Yeah, because the x86 is in the path.
Yeah, so if we do set path, we will see that we have hard-coded C-clone program files, x86 deployment dojo belt test. And of course, we're now a 64-bit app we don't install there. And can I blow your mind a little bit more, David?
Yeah, what's that?
Program files, this program file is x86, believe it or not, that gets localized on some operating systems.
All right.
So on German, I know it is not program files. It's like program file or whatever it is. Like whatever it is in German, it is localized, which means that we have a very big problem here with this hard-coded path.
Don't use program files path.
Yep, don't use program files path. So how are we going to do this? Well, it turns out we actually have a few options, and it's something that we kind of skipped over when we were doing variables. Or when we were doing all those different variables in the WiX toolset. Remember when we talked about properties? How you can set properties to command line and they are evaluated at the time of install?
Right.
And do you remember how we could use a variable like, right? All caps would allow it to be set from the command line. Mixed case would only be allowed to set if we had a property inside here named that.
Yes, been a minute, but yes, I remember talking about that.
Yep. So, and you remember this square bracket syntax is the way that we said, hey, I want the value from this property. I don't want the value to be set prop name. I want it to be the value of prop name, which in this case would be standard.
Right.
Okay. Remember all that. Well, it turns out that the Windows installer knows that you can probably need the directories as variables as well. And so the Windows installer is very kind and just tosses all of the directories in and makes them available using that same property syntax. So our fix can be
the square bracket.
And then what do you think goes inside here?
Program files?
Mm-hmm. That's not the name of the ID of it.
Oh, okay. The ID then.
Yes, but I think we could do better than program files. We want install folder.
Oh, right.
In fact, we want the directory where this component is being installed, which is install folder. Okay.
All right.
Makes sense?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Here we go. Now, when we build this and install it, we're going to find a bug in the code. Do you remember that bug in the code? All right, that's building.
No.
Bring it to sandbox. The XE that we're installing is an x86 XE.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So it looks as for registry keys in the 32-bit location only.
Yeah.
All right. So belt test package, bin, x64, debug, enus, belt test, run. Not here, because this is the 64-bit one. This is what failed last time. So we're going to open a command prompt, make it nice and big. That's probably too big. Console app1.exe. Ready?
Right.
Yay! And it worked, with the bug being that there are the missing registry keys, because this is actually a 32-bit XE looking in 32-bit locations. But now that we're a 64-bit package, our component is being installed 64-bit.
Right.
So what we were able to do with this one line was set and add our directory as the value as into the list of variables for this. Oh, come on, set for this path. And you can see here, C: program files, deployment Dojo built test. No x86. It's being split right across there. Oop,
Right.
going too much. Right. There we go. Let's see if I can highlight there. That one right there. One thing I want to point out, since it's here in front of us, notice there's a backslash on the end.
Right.
The Windows installer does that. The Windows installer, when you ask for the value of a directory, it gives it to you with the backslash on it. Always. So,
Okay.
that's fine. You're like, yeah, okay, fine, whatever. Sometimes it matters.
So
Sometimes it matters.
Pending something to it, it's going to matter.
Yeah, if you want to add something to it, then you could say console app1.exe, then you could do that.
Yeah.
Or you could do bin if we were to do subdirectory equals bin. Remember that trick?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So there we do. There we go. Really quickly. Good episode?
Yeah.
All right. Sparring real quick. Any questions, David?
I don't know if I have any this time. We didn't go over like a lot of new stuff. Just the use of the properties, like, and the use of which variable at what time, right? It's one thing to know all of the, build time variables and runtime variables and bind variables and preprocessor variables. It's another of trying to figure, okay, when do I need to use them? So it's still getting kind of a feel for that.
Clearly, this has to be a runtime variable because this is getting set on the user's machine. An install time variable. Right? We don't want the machine. We don't want the value on the build machine. We don't want it on my machine. We want it on wherever it's being installed, wherever that directory might be. Right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, I think on that note, I am going to make my changes. Let's look at what changes we've made here. Okay, look, we've added our environment line. What did I do? I changed the names here. I'm going to make that a separate change. Yeah, just save everything for a moment. Thank you.
You can do those small commits, basically.
I'm doing small commits, right? Like, clean up belt test package name. And I don't know what to do about this one. What to think about? What do we want to do with this where this has to keep changing? I'm going to have to think about what we do here. I don't have... Well, I'm not going to commit this one necessarily. No, I am going to commit it. Yeah, I'm going to commit. I should have committed this as part of setting up episode 21, I think. Is what I'll have to be doing. All right, so I guess I could have done an amend commit if I'd done things in the right order. Advanced Git, we'll do that some other time. All right. Sandbox 2 episode 21 folder. Okay, and here's our change to remove console read key. Remove read key so XC doesn't hang. Yes, you just push a key, but that you can see that being reported by a user. I ran it and then it hung.
Yes.
All right, cool. And next one. All right, and then our real change here. Environment variable, path, value, install folder, set, and everything. Sorry, guys. Thank you for reminding me that. Sorry, I forgot to get the sparring screen off. All right, here we go. So I just made a bunch of commits that we just walked through. None of them are terribly interesting things that you'd already seen, but this is the commit. I'm glad we noticed correctly. Console, this is the change that we made. We added a line, essentially, with some nice white space about it, right?
Right.
Very nice that is as that. Oh, that's what I want to do. We're gonna, okay, so we see this here real quick, right? See that set variable?
Right.
And if we refresh, there's our belt test. If we uninstall, Notice it's still here?
Yeah.
Because this command prompt has not been refreshed. The pain, but the current command prompts do not get refreshed. But if we do it again, we will now see that our deployment dojo is nowhere in that list. So uninstall worked as well. I don't know why we didn't think about testing that before, but the sandbox is still open, so it was easy, right?
Right.
Yeah. All right, environment variable to install folder, right? Right. Commit. All right, we have 7 changes outgoing. Will this show it to me? Oh yeah, look at all that work we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good stuff. And here was merge pull request 1 from Deployment Dojo episode 20. Well, we're going to do the same thing when we push. So let's go ahead and push. Is this push? Okay. Oh, and I can push create a pull request from here. Let's see if this does what I want it to do. Create a pull request. Da-da-da. Yes, this is great. This is exactly what I wanted it to do.
Did it open up a web with the GitHub?
Yeah, it opened up a web browser. Right. So you see here, GitHub has recognized that, hey, you just pushed this branch. By pushing this inside Visual Studio, it opened me right to the place where it can create the pull request for me. It's essentially the same as me pushing that button right there.
Right.
But from inside Visual Studio, which is right. What did I say on? Does it show a message? I guess it doesn't. All right. So, I was hoping I had a message here, but what do we do? Expanding episode 21, expanding the environment.
Or enhancing the environment.
Oh, enhancing. Thank you. Enhancing the environment. Someone read the show notes. Okay.
Right.
Create a pull request. And hopefully we have a build going. Yay! And look, we have a build kicked off.
Yep.
So this is a change I made to require builds for all pull requests that are going to main. And then I can check this little button right here to enable auto merge, confirm it. And when that build completes, then it'll automatically send this commit in for me. And we will have a nice little graph with all of our stuff on the main, setting ourselves up for the next episode. We don't need to sit here and watch this build.
Right.
I'm just gonna let that go. All right, David. I think that's pretty good. Pretty successful. Nice little block of work. Walk through the wrong way to do it and then the right way to do it. And we introduced that directories are treated the same as properties, which is something I skipped over when we did variables way back when.
Right.
And the nice thing is that this will stay in sync. Right. So whenever the user changes install folder from the command line, then it'll also make sure this value works. Good?
Cool. Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was fantastic. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back next week, and we're now have enough technology on our side to start growing more and more complex applications. So we'll go see what we dream up and introduce into the Deployment Dojo next week. Until then, you guys keep coding. Bye.
See ya.